Hello, sweet peas and sugar dumplings, and welcome to another story time with Shiningnathan. And I'm always happy to read for you, and we're going to be reading a quirky fun tale called The Cat by Banjo Paterson. Came out in 1902 and published in The Bulletin. So, if you followed me here from TikTok, I'm glad as always and blessed to have you. If you found me organically, welcome. I'm glad to have you too. So here's where you can pause to get yourself a snack, something to eat, and get all colored up, or set me down so you can go about your day doing dishes or laundry or whatever, and I'll just play in the background. Don't forget to turn on that notification bell, subscribe, and like if you enjoyed. Now let's get into this story. The Cat by Banjo Paterson. Most people think that the cat is an unintelligent animal, fond of ease and caring little for anything but mice and milk. But a cat has really more character than most human beings, and gets a great deal more satisfaction out of life. Of all the animal kingdom, the cat has the most many-sided character. He or she is an athlete, a musician, an acrobat, a Lothario, a grim fighter, a sport of the first water. All day, the cat loafs about the house, taking things easy, sleeps by the fire, and allows himself to be pestered by the attentions of our womenfolk and annoyed by our children. To pass the time away, he sometimes watches a mouse hole for an hour or two, just to keep himself from dying of ennui. And people get the idea that this sort of thing is all that life holds for the cat. But watch him as he shades of the evening fall, and you can see the cat as he really is. When the family sits down to tea, the cat usually puts in an appearance to get his share, and purrs noisily and rubs himself against the legs of the family, and all the time he is thinking of a fight or a love affair that is coming off the evening. If there is a guest at the table, the cat is particularly civil to him because the guest is likely to have the best of what's going on. Sometimes, instead of recognizing this civility with something to eat, the guest stoops down and strokes the cat and says, "Poor pussy, poor pussy." The cat soon tires of that. He puts up his claw and quietly but firmly rakes the guest on the leg. "Ah," says the guest, "the cat struck his claws into me." The delighted family remarks, "Isn't it sweet of him? Isn't he intelligent? He wants you to give him something to eat." The guest dares not do what he would like to do, kick the cat through the window. So with tears of rage and pain in his eyes, he affects to be much more amused, and sorts out a bit of fish from his plate and hands it down. The cat gingerly receives it with a look in his eyes that says, "Another time, my friend. You won't be so dull of comprehension," and purrs maliciously as he retires to a safe distance from the guest's boot before eating it. A cat isn't a fool, not by a long way. When the family has finished tea and gathers round the fire to enjoy the hours of ingestion, the cat slouches casually out of the room and disappears. Life, true life, now begins for him. He saunters down into his own backyard, springs to the top of the fence with an easy bound, drops slightly down on the other side, trots across the right-of-way to a vacant allotment, skips to the roof of an empty shed. As he grows, he throws off the effeminacy of civilization. His gait becomes lithe and panther-like. He looks quickly and keenly from side to side and moves noiselessly, for he has so many enemies: dogs, cabmen with whips, and small boys with stones. Arrived at the top of the shed, the cat arches his back and rakes his claws once or twice through the soft bark of the old roof. Wheels round and stretches himself a few more times, just to see that every muscle's in full working order. Then, dropping his head nearly to his paws, he sends across a league of backyards his call to his kindred, a call to love, or war, or sport. Before long, they come, gliding, graceful shadows approaching circuitously and halting occasionally to reconnoiter. Tortoiseshells, tabbies, and black, all domestic cats, but all transformed from the noisy into their natural state. No longer are they hypocritical meat creatures who an hour ago were caging for fish and milk. They are now ruffling, swaggering blades with a caisson sense of dignity. Their fights are grim and determined, and the cat will be clawed to ribbons before he will yield. Even young lady cats have this inestimable superiority over human beings that they can work off jealousy, hatred, and malice in a sprawling, yelling combat on a flat roof. All cats fight, and all keep themselves more or less in training while they are young. Your cat may be the acknowledged lightweight champion of his district, a griffo of the feline ring. Just think how much more he gets out of his life than you do out of others. What a hurricane of fighting and love-making his life is, and blush for yourself. You have had one little love affair and never had a good all-out fight in your life. And the sport they have, too. As they get older and retire from the ring, they go in for sport more systematically. The suburban backyards that are to us but dullness inscribable are to them hunting grounds, and trysting places where they may have more gallant adventure than ever had King Arthur's knights or Robin Hood's merry men. Grimalkin decides to kill a canary in his neighborhood veranda. Consider the fascination of it. The stealthy reconnaissance from the top of the fence, the care to avoid waking the house dog, the noiseless approach, and the hurried dash, the fierce clawing at the fluttering bird till it is dragged through the bars of the cage, the exultant retreat with the spoil, and the growling over the feast that follows. Not the least entertaining part of this is the demure satisfaction of arriving home in time for breakfast, and hearing the house mistress say, "Tom must be sick, he seems to have no appetite." It is always leveled as a reproach against cats that they are more fond of their home than of the people in it. Naturally, the cat doesn't like to leave his country, the land where all his friends are and where he knows every landmark. Exiled in a strange land, he would have to learn a new geography, to exploit another tribe of dogs, to fight and make love to an entirely new nation of cats. Life isn't long enough for that sort of thing for a cat. So when the family moves, the cat, if allowed, will stay at the old house and attach himself to the new tenants. He'll give them the privilege of boarding him while he enjoys life in his own way. He's not going to sacrifice his whole career for the doubtful reward which fidelity to his old master or mistress might bring. I hope you enjoyed this tale of The Cat by Banjo Paterson. Again, it was published in 1902, so has an entirely different perspective on cats than we do today, but I thought it was a quite quirky, delightful story. Comment below if you enjoyed it, and if you enjoy my content, consider becoming a patron on Patreon for as low as $3 to $5. And a special thank you to all my patrons on Patreon who make all my channels, all my content possible. I love you all, and you take care of yourself. Oh, before I go, you may be asking, why do I mainly do these stories of yore? And it's because they're in the public domain. And so it allows me to read these stories and introduce to you a different segment of life, while still enjoying a story, while not getting in trouble. So once again, I love you, and take care.